In this video, it's my pleasure to be interviewing Jason Dordel of the Blunder Blots YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is now available. There's a link in the description to where you can find it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. So the interviews have been very popular. And in this one, it's again my pleasure to have Jason Dordel of the Blunder Blots YouTube channel. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks for having me, Alex. This is awesome. I'm glad to be here.
My pleasure. I'm excited to have you on. And you've been we're going to talk about backgammon and a lot about your YouTube channel and all your videos. You've been doing it for, it looks like a little less than a year or so.
Yeah, it'll be a year here in December, actually. My first video I posted was a Crisloid box opening, and that was like December 17th or something like that.
Okay, great. I look forward to talking about that
Yeah.
shortly. I'd like to start, if I may, with some background biographical information. Can you tell our viewers, please, where you're from, where you grew up, your education, where you live, if you're married, children, day job, things like that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hail from Wisconsin in the US, and let's see where to start. So I grew up, most people who, especially if you're a football fan, US football, I grew up near Green Bay, Wisconsin. So if you're a Packers fan, NFL, all that, that's pretty much where I grew up. Went to a little bit of college there, and then moved to Oshkosh for college there. And I went to school for radio, TV, film. So videography, essentially what I do for my YouTube channel. So that's where I started with that. And that's going on 15 years now that I've been doing videos. So as far as family, I have my wife who is on the channel a lot, Bri, and we have a little guy named Milo, and we're expecting our second due in February. So it's going to be a very busy time, that's for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
We're looking
great.
forward to it.
So how old is your son?
He's going to be 2 in December. So he's
Two,
still,
and then
he's a little guy.
yeah, I have two. My older one is 8, and my younger one is 2.5. So it'll get
Nice.
busier.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast time flies already. It's wild that it's been 2 years already. So
Yeah, well, I didn't know you were expecting, so congratulations. That's exciting news.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we mentioned you've been doing these backgammon videos, and you have a background. You have a background in video,
Hmm.
so that's great. We'll talk about the backgammon, but what are kind of your interests outside of that? I see videography, obviously.
Yeah, so my day job, I do a lot of like product videography and stuff like that. So it's just showing products off and whatnot. But I do a lot of freelancing too. And my favorite thing to freelance is initially, you go into videography, everybody has the dream of going to Hollywood. I decided that wasn't for me, so I didn't go that route. But I still do from time to time do a lot of freelancing, and my area of expertise is sound. So you think like in movies, you see the guy holding the boom pole and hovering that over people. That's where I like to be when I'm on set, whether it be for a corporate production or a short film or even a feature film. So that's my favorite part there. But yeah, that's kind of been the thing, doing all kinds of stuff from visual effects to regular corporate interviews and stuff like that. So yeah, I've done a lot in the last 15 years, that's for sure.
That's great. That's great. And now you've kind of carried it over into an interest of yours, backgammon. How did you first get into backgammon?
So it's super interesting with the pandemic and everything. Obviously, being at home was kind of a thing. So my wife and I are big into board games. So we're like, well, what are some good? All of our games were like 4+ people. So we're like, what are some good 2-player games? And we noticed our local library started renting games, and we're like, okay, maybe we'll get some chess or something like that. And they had a backgammon board, and I'm like, I had a backgammon board when I was a kid, and I always knew it is that pointy board on the back of the chess set. And nobody knew how to play it. I never learned how to play it. And I'm like, I'm going to learn how to play that. And so we started playing and literally got addicted. We were playing all day, every day. And well, when Milo was sleeping, at least. But
Right.
he likes playing too, actually. He calls it
Does he?
shake roll. So he likes to take the dice. He's getting pretty good at shaking the dice and rolling it out. We got to keep an eye on him. We finally taught him not to put the dice or the checkers in his mouth. But
Yeah, my
but
my daughter does the same thing. The other day, a week ago maybe, I was playing with my son and she grabbed one of the checkers and started running. And I knew what she was doing, so I
yep.
ran after her. She ran to the restroom, threw the checker down the toilet. This is one of those expensive like
Oh
leather
no.
checkers with the metal rims, and flushed it down the toilet. I got
Oh,
there just in time to reach in there and get it out.
saving the day. How's the checker holding up?
Oh, it's fine. I got it quickly. I dried it off. But that's what the kids do. That's how they learn.
Yup, yup. We have we got a magnetic set from Crisloid, and he found
Ah,
out that he could put those. So we in that video we had like a little spoof thing of like him running around with the checkers. We never let him play with them by himself, obviously, because choking hazards. But he found out he can stick them to the fridge. So
ah,
he goes around doing that kind of stuff when when we're watching him, which is really cute. But
that's fun. So you got a backgammon set from the library?
yep, and we had it for about 2 weeks, and we're like I said, we're just absolutely addicted to the game. And then I think I did a Google search for backgammon, and the first thing that popped up was the 2022 World Championship between Sander and it was Stenyk. And so I watched all of that, like the whole thing, and I'm like, "Well, this is amazing! This is so cool!" So, and it happened to be right around my birthday, and my mom happened to buy me a backgammon set, just like I guess you would in the tournament world consider it a budget set. It was like a little $80 set, and
Yeah.
I still have that. It's a great set. But then I went down that road, and then I'm like, man, this is so cool. I need to. So this is like 3 months after that, and then I started looking into tournament sets because I tend to go in the deep end when I jump into things. So then I found out about Crisloid, and I got the Crisloid Anchor Orange board, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to do a video on this. So that was my first video on my channel too, opening that.
Yeah. You like orange? Is that like one of your favorite colors?
It is. It is. I love sunrises, sunsets. Like that's part my favorite time of the day, and so that's become my favorite color. So I'm like, that's the way we got to go.
Crisloid makes some very high quality products. I did a video on their website where they do their
Hmm.
online store,
Yeah.
and I've played on them. They're really nice. They've been doing it for a long time, and they have really good customer service now.
Yes, they really do. Yeah, and I've been chatting a little bit with Jeff, the co-owner there, and we're working
Yeah,
on some videos for the future here too. So stay tuned for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Good. So you got the board, and then you started playing,
Mhm.
and so what inspired you to start making the videos about backgammon? I know that's your background, but what made you decide to have a whole YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because I've wanted to do a YouTube channel for like ever, and I've never found anything that I truly committed to like for more than a few months. Like I said, I'd go in rabbit holes and then I come out, and I go in rabbit holes and I come out. And something about backgammon was like really, it was just really unique. I liked playing it. I liked showing people how to play it. And then once I saw there was actual like people playing online tournaments and all that, I'm like, this is just so cool. I need to do this. So I made that first video, and then lo and behold, I ended up, getting into the tournament scene and stuff. We could talk more about that, but the people in the community are just phenomenal, and I just don't want to stop at this point because it's just such a fun thing.
Yeah, I see, I watch a lot of backgammon videos online and on YouTube, and a lot of them are, about strategy and watching matches and things like that. But yours are very unique. It comes from kind of like newer players' perspective,
Hmm.
showing the excitement of it and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's something my wife and I both decided we wanted to do very early on because we were new. So showing the game and anything beyond the basics, we're not going to do a good job with that. People like yourself, Nick Blazier, Mark Olson, so many people out there are just doing phenomenal job with what's the right play in certain positions and all that. And we love watching that. We watch that quite often, especially myself. But we wanted to show the world of backgammon itself and how cool it is to go to these tournaments, to play games, whether it be in a tournament setting or just around your own kitchen table, and what a fun experience it is. And I forget who I saw it from, but they said backgammon's a good game for life because you're never in control of what you're dealt. you're just in control of how you play it and how you deal with it. And I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I think a lot of that stuff when I make the videos.
Yeah, there's always something you can learn in
Hmm.
backgammon. Was that uh, what made you decide to kind of get more interested and involved in backgammon? I know you said you got many different types of games, but then you
Yeah.
kind of stuck with backgammon, it seems like.
Yeah. So I still can't put my finger on it exactly what makes it so magical. I sound so cheesy right now, but it's a game I keep coming back to, and every time I play it, I just have the best time ever. And I started saying this early on in my videos that it's fun when you win and it's fun when you lose, and I hope that never goes away. And I know obviously when you're in a tournament scenario, like you want to do well, you don't want to lose, even in a club scenario, but yeah, it's just I just recently, this past Wednesday, I we started a backgammon club, and by we I mean Michelle Anderson. I met her in Madison at the Madison tournament. We didn't have anything remotely close in this area. Closest is Madison, and that's almost 2 hours away. Um, so she's like, "Oh, cool. There's other people in this area." So she started the club. I'm getting sidetracked here. I apologize, Alex.
No, no.
But she started the club, and we've been at 7 people now is the best turnout we've had. So we're slowly building that way. But she just stomped me. We play 7 point matches, and she beat me 7-0. And her dice were just on fire. And I was still having the best time of my life because it to see her just every time I would leave a shot, she would hit it. And I was like, man, that's awesome. It was just a good time. So I don't
Yeah,
know. So something like a lot of games, like you don't want to lose, obviously, but I don't know. Something about backgammon just keeps me coming back.
yeah, that's great. I think you have definitely a very positive attitude. Sometimes people get really frustrated when they lose, and some people have more of a temper than others.
Sure.
But you know, it's something to enjoy. I know in the tournaments, people are very serious about it, but there are also a lot of people that play for fun. That's what I did when I was growing up. It was kind of part of our culture, and we would just play for fun. If you win,
Yeah,
you win. You lose, you lose. Obviously, you want to win, but if you don't win, you still enjoy the experience.
exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so let's see. So you've been doing all that, and you said your first YouTube video was on the unboxing. That sounds
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, so actually I was inspired initially with that particular video. Justin McKenna, he's got a bunch of videos online of box openings, and part of why I went with the Crisloid is because of his box openings. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm gonna make a video too. This sounds like fun. And yeah, initially it was kind of turning into some like my other stuff where I want to start making videos, and I got it all shot and edited, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want to post it. And my wife's like, just post it. And I hit publish, and I just kind of like ran away for a little bit, and yeah, I got some great feedback on it, and from there I kept going, just trying different ideas out.
Yeah, I think I have the YouTube channel. It's gonna share that here.
Yeah.
So look, you see that on there now?
Yep, there it is.
So yeah, this is the channel. Everyone check it out. It's on YouTube. Blunder Blots at
Mm-hmm.
Blunder Blots. Looks like right now you have 783 subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
20 videos, and you have thousands of views on some of these videos. How did you get so many views?
I mean, I guess some of it is just using techniques I've learned over the years, as far as like not all of them are this way, but having titles that are engaging and thumbnails that are engaging. And one of the big
Yeah.
things I like in video is telling a story, and it doesn't always happen with my videos, but your thumbnail is kind of like the poster to your video, right? So you want it to hopefully incite people or entice people to, that looks cool, and click on it. And basically the thumbnail and the title needed to deliver on the content you're providing within. And some of them do that, some of them don't, but that's kind of what I'm going with for that. I haven't really found my true niche within my channel yet. I've been playing around with playthroughs, casual and more professionally produced. That one right there in this middle left, leveling up, that was with Ben Friesen. He was in town and he kind of showed
This
me.
one, yeah.
Yep, he kind of was like, "Hey, let's go through a game and let's do some education." And in that way, education in that way feels really good to me, because then it's me learning and someone else who's better than me teaching, and then I'm just making it available, so to speak. And then obviously we've done several tournaments, and we've some of it's been following other people, some of it's been following our own journey. Um, well, we had Chicago on there, Wisconsin, obviously recently Jamaica, Minnesota, the Viking Backgammon Classic. Yeah, and then yeah, that one top right, that's a clock video. I didn't see
Yeah.
anything out there on clocks for the most part, so I thought that'd be fun to make to kind of educate newer people coming into the game. And yeah, it's been all over the place.
Yeah,
Trying to
I
find my
think
niche.
just by looking at it, it just looks like you're having a lot of fun
I
on
am.
every thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, smiling with your wife, it's fun traveling, all this
Yeah.
stuff. Um,
Yeah, that Jamaica one in particular, if you would have told me I'd be in Jamaica for backgammon a year ago, I would have laughed at you. Like, like I would have been like, what? Why would I be in Jamaica? I've never even been international before, and to have to then get my passport and go to this place that
uh,
backgammon has taken me. And then while I was there, making new friends, building relationships with friends I've already made it's just been so cool. I'm just grinning about it now. It's just been such a good time.
yeah. So you met a lot of people through these videos.
Yeah. So originally, so a lot of how all this started was I found out, like I said, I watched the World Championship, and Nick Blazier was commenting that year, and I found out that he lives in Wisconsin as well. So I reached out to him, and I'm like, "Hey, this is my channel. I just started making videos. I would love to do a video with you." And that's the XG video that's on my channel. I think it's called an extremely good way to get better at backgammon. And so I did that video with him, and then Ben Friesen happened to be in the neck of the woods, so he came too. We met at the Madison Backgammon Club. So I did an interview with Nick, and then made that video, and then I got to know Ben, and then went out to Cherry Blossom in Washington D.C. Great tournament, and that was my first tournament experience, and that was really cool. I didn't play in it. I was just helping out with a little bit of video for the live stream, doing recaps. But then in the little time I had, I kind of made like a little recap video for my channel as well, and that was just yeah, that was just so cool. And then I've gone to several since then. It's just such a great time.
Yeah, it looks like you have a lot of great skills in terms of video and things like that. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
if you're ever interested, probably the USBGF always looking for volunteers to help with that kind of stuff. I think you would be outstanding.
Yeah, I've been talking with John Perner a little bit, the president of the USBGF, and we might be working on a few things. I'm not sure yet, so potentially.
Even these videos that you make, just like making a preview video of a tournament, it's like a commercial.
Oh,
That's how.
thank you.
So yeah. So what made you decide to kind of first start traveling to these tournaments outside of your local vicinity?
So Ben Friesen was the big one. Washington D.C. That's always been a place I've wanted to visit. I big into history and all that, and so it's just always been on my bucket list. Never made it out to the East Coast. So he said, "Yeah, come on out, and you'll have a couple days of free time to go explore the capital." And yeah, we're just gonna have fun. I just want you to get some video, basically showing the tournament, and ideally do some recap videos. So Nick Blazier and I worked on recaps every day that went on the live stream, basically, showing people where people were standing. Mostly we focused on the main event and the Masters and Super Jackpot. And yeah, that was a ton of fun. Got to know Nick better, got to know Ben Friesen better. Um, and basically the whole team involved in with that. There's a bunch of people. I don't want to miss anybody, so I'm not going to say any names, but the crew down there was just phenomenal, working together with everybody, and got to meet a lot of big names in the backgammon world too, which at the time I had no idea, but like Victor Ashkenazi, John O'Hagan, Chris Trencher, Kent Goulding. He gave a great seminar when we were there. I got to film that too. And that alone, just being in this hall with him, being on a projector, and there's like over 100 people just having their lunch and going over. I'm like, this is the most nerdy and cool thing ever right now. It was just so cool. I didn't get much out of it at the time, just because, I mean, I did, but a lot of it was over my head. But since then, it's been helpful. So thankfully, I have the videos for that. I don't know whatever happened to that as far as where it was going, but it was a great seminar. I've rewatched it.
Yeah, yeah. Kent Goulding is very knowledgeable and entertaining as well. He's been playing
Yeah,
for a very long time, as well as some of the other ones. I've met all the ones you mentioned, and they're all
yeah.
outstanding players.
All really fun guys. Carol Joy Cole to speak for the ladies side, Karen Davis as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just a great group there. It was just fun. I keep saying that. It's just I don't know how
Well,
else
it
to
is.
describe it. Yeah, it's just a good
Yeah.
time.
So then you went, as you said, you went to DC, the Cherry Blossom.
Mhm.
You went to, where did you go next?
Chicago for Rory's tournament. That was
Chicago.
the
Yeah,
next
Rory
one.
runs a good one. That was not far from you. Could you drive there?
Yeah, there was about 2.5 hour drive. So yeah, we drove there, and my wife and I both played in the novice tournament, and I got some lucky dice, and I actually won that tournament, which was
Oh,
really
great.
cool. Yeah, so I
Congratulations.
got a little trophy back on the shelf there. It was pretty sweet. It was a really cool experience, and I still talk with a few of the people that were in the novice group. I joke, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool that 20, 30 years from now we're all still chatting and going to tournaments together? So that was a great tournament as well. It's a big difference playing in one versus documenting people playing in one. It's just a very different dynamic. I enjoy both, but it's definitely, as far as content goes, a lot trickier when you're playing.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Nowadays, a lot of people videotape their matches and live
Hmm.
stream and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And you know, I have some people that always ask me about like equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be a topic you might consider doing a video on, like, you know, these recording systems and stands, because you're kind of, that's your background.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And I've see, in my world, so many things, there's just so many stands and big heavy things to make things for one, safe to the people that are around you. You know, you're throwing sandbags on things, you're weighting them down, you're in, and that's just a different world than what backgammon is. So I've thought about that as far as making things portable, but also good and efficient, and affordable at the same time. So that is something I've thought about, but I haven't thought about it for a bit. So I appreciate you bringing it back to the surface.
Yeah. And then so then you went to Chicago, and then you went to Jamaica recently. I saw that.
Yeah, Wisconsin, then
Oh,
Minnesota, and then
mhm.
Jamaica's the most recent one. Yeah. And that one was through so Jeb Horton was the director for that one.
Right?
And I met him through Cherry Blossom originally, and then he was at, I think, all of the other ones I went to, Chicago, Minnesota, and Madison.
Yeah.
And yeah, he it was enjoying the videos I was doing. And so yeah, he got Nick Blazier out there as well, and myself, and we did recaps for that one as well, and for the live stream, which those are housed on Nick Blazier's channel. If you want to check those out, they're just
Yeah.
they're under his video list. They're some of the most recent videos actually, but they have just the Jamaica thumbnail on them. So if you want to see what the recaps we do, those are what we do for the live streams.
I can try to put the links in the description. If not, you can put them in the comments
Yeah,
when we
definitely,
we'll see.
definitely. Hmm.
Yeah, that one looked really good. I know Jeb and his wife Robin do an
Yeah,
outstanding job. Jeb has been running tournaments, and I met him. He's a really nice guy.
yeah.
And his wife Robin Horton, you may have met her.
Yep, absolutely. Phenomenal people.
She's she makes these carrying cases for for the boards. Have you seen
I didn't
those?
know that. No.
Oh yeah, she'll custom make it and
Oh,
whatever
that's cool.
color you want. And I have one, and they're really good and they're really durable. So
I love that.
check that out one time, because you know you buy these boards and they're not cheap,
Yep,
and
you
you
want to keep them
want to
safe.
travel with them. You want to keep them, you know, in good shape so they don't break. And it's important to have a good quality cover for it.
Absolutely.
Um,
I've got
yeah,
my eye on a few higher end boards, but got to keep saving for now, because the man, there's you go to all these tournaments and you just get, whether you're playing on other people's boards or you're
yeah.
just seeing them from afar, it's like, ooh, I would love some of those.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm interested in too. I've done a lot of reviews on boards. What are the ones you kind of liked? Obviously, you have your Crisloid. What else have you
Yeah.
played on that you've enjoyed or seen?
I really enjoyed playing on the FM Gammon. Being a sound guy, I just love the clicks and clacks. It's just very, one of the things I did a lot, and still do, is it's called Foley. Insert sound effects, whether it be somebody walking or running, footsteps, all that stuff. but for whatever reason, every time you move a piece and it makes that clack, it's so in your face in a good way that it's almost like somebody placed Foley for each piece. It's so cool. So I really enjoy playing on FM Gammon boards. And for the same reason, Taki boards, Chicago. I don't know if he's still making them, but played on a few of his boards. Phenomenal. FTH have been really fun to play on. I've been wanting to play on a Gammoner, haven't gotten the chance to do that yet. Of course, in the same neighborhood as Crisloid, Wycliffe. Those have been the main ones I've played on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else coming to mind. Those have been Backgammon Galaxy. Obviously, I played on the Earth board. That's a great board as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw they were playing on the Wycliffe Brothers boards in Jamaica with those
Mm-hmm.
nice weighted checkers.
Yep.
Those are nice. FM Gammon, I have an FM Gammon. The
Oh,
picture in the
nice.
background of my screen is my FM Gammon
Oh, nice. It's a beautiful
board.
board.
Yeah, it is. Those, and they also manufacture the Backgammon Galaxy ones.
Yeah.
They're all really high quality, as well as the talkie boards. I really enjoy playing on those wooden boards, partly because of everything you described, but also
Mm-hmm.
partly because, when I was growing up, we had the all wood boards that make like
Mm-hmm.
really loud sounds. But they are heavier
Yeah.
because of the wood. So
Yep.
that's where, when you have leather ones or something else like that, like the Crisloid, FTH Gammoner, those are nice for travel. The
Yeah.
other ones that are really nice that I really enjoyed playing on, I don't know if you've ever seen them, are the Jeffrey Parker ones.
I haven't seen one in person. I've seen them online, but yeah, is that what the one your daughter threw the down the toilet?
It's the checker is similar to that kind of a
Sure.
checker, but that was actually a P40 one.
Oh, sure. P40 I've played on as well at our club.
Yeah, P40s are nice too. They're kind of like the other style, but they have a metallic frame, which makes a different sound,
Yes.
and they're much more lightweight. So
Very lightweight. I
I
was
like that.
surprised how light they were.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. So sounds like
Yes.
you've been traveling a lot, that playing a lot, making
Nope.
videos,
Yeah,
expecting a baby.
between
That's
yes,
exciting.
yes, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot more I want to work on. But I mean, being a videographer and filmmaking and all that, and I probably spend more time on the videos than I should. A lot of the videos, yeah, I mean, they're like 18 minutes long, and I'll spend a good 30 to 40 hours on them. Um,
Wow.
which is most people hear that and it's absolutely insane. But obviously, part of that is viewing it several times. You make a bunch of cuts, you go to bed for the night, come back, watch it several times, make notes, make changes. And even then I still miss things. And some of the early work, and it hasn't even been that long, I'll be like, oh man, I should have did that better or that right. And that's just perfectionism at that point. But that's just kind of how I've become in my field, in my career, I guess, over the years. So it just is what it is. And some people have mentioned wanting to start a YouTube channel, and how long does it take, what blah 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 blah. And I tell them that, and they're like, and I'm like, you do not need to spend anywhere near that
No.
amount of time to make videos. You can easily crank them out in a much quicker time and still be great. So if anybody wants to start a channel, whether it be backgammon or whatever, I definitely would encourage it. It's a great time. Even if you're never leaving your house and you're just playing with friends and family, like that's stuff I want to see and I want to watch. Like it's just cool to see people having fun playing the game. A lot of times, like at a club, I almost enjoy watching more than I enjoy playing, just to see people smiling or they roll a good roll, yes, they get excited, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, I have probably over 100 videos now,
Mm.
and I don't spend 30 to 40 hours.
You're cranking them out. Like I am, like when you contacted me, I saw your video because you did a review of my channel, which thank you,
Yeah,
by the way. That was awesome.
my pleasure.
Uh, and I think you only had like maybe 50 or something at the time. And now you're at like 600. Like you are cranking them out. Like that is some content. I love it.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of get a lot of following when you have kind of like a niche, thing that you're interested in. But it's
Yeah.
getting there. I mean, there are a lot of shorter videos that I do,
Mhm.
maybe 5, 10 minutes, but I think the people really like longer ones, like these interviews, the
Yeah, I've
matches
I've
that.
definitely been enjoying the interviews for sure. I mean, I've been enjoying a lot of your content, but the interviews are really cool.
Yeah, thank you. People like that. I've been doing some lessons because people are interested in lessons and
Yeah.
to do
You
some of
got your
those.
new book, which is awesome.
Did you get it?
I haven't yet. No, I
Oh,
haven't, but I would like to.
it's advanced. It's advanced. You probably
That's the one thing that's been keeping me, because I'd like to get Mark and Mochi's book too, but it's I don't think, obviously I would get something from both of them. But I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet. Hopefully sometime in the next year I would love to pick it up.
yeah, that's a good idea, and that was actually a good topic I was gonna bring up in terms of how have you been learning? What have you been doing to improve your game?
Yeah, so obviously watching Backgammon online, a lot of times just even people breaking things down like what you do on your channel, Nick Blazier, Michi, Mark Olson, just the breaking things down and why something was a blunder or why things should have been a certain way or not. And even like when I'm at the tournament, sometimes I'll have time to just sit down and watch the live stream and just watching with the XG feed up there and seeing how things should or shouldn't be is very helpful for learning. Once you have a good feel for points, and when people are calling out points and stuff like that of where they're talking about, and you can quickly direct yourself there, that's been very helpful. At first it was a little like, ooh, oh boy, because you people would name points like the midpoint, okay, what is that, or yep, on the 18 point there, and it's like, oh yeah, okay. But once you get that down, that's very helpful. Michi's books have been just a huge help for me, and he was
Yeah,
actually in Chicago, and
yeah,
when I won novice, I'm like, I seriously attribute this win to you. Thank you so much. And he was just so excited when I said that. And I was excited for meeting him. It was just really cool that way. But Michi's books have been great. The first book I read was Mark Olson's, I think it's From Basic to Badass.
that's a good one.
Um, yeah, that's the first one I read. And then I have 501 Backgammon Problems. That one I go through from time to time. I'm working through Mark's Cube Like a Boss, because cubing is a very weak area in my game currently. So I'm working through that. And then yeah, just a lot of playing. I have XG on my phone, so I do a lot of that.
Okay.
Um, and I try to play it with the hint mode off. Or if I'm not sure, then I'll check and see. But those are the three big ones I would say.
Yeah. Do you have the XG on the computer too?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I don't I other than when I'm doing matches, like my playthroughs and I go back and put it through, I don't get onto it as much as I would like. Like I said, a lot of the videos take a lot of time, so it takes up a lot
Yeah.
of my free time. So I don't get to do as much learning as I would like. So I need to try and figure out a way to improve that. So I try to learn while making the videos because I watch them so many times. So
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think you're doing all the right things. What I personally like about the XG, it's a lot easier to use when you're on the computer, whereas you don't have to worry about the small screen,
yeah,
and
for
you kind
sure.
of go see what the errors were, and then you can kind of change the position and see if what would change and things like that. I do that a lot. And
Hmm.
the books, I've read so many books. I've
What have
read
been
many.
some of your favorites?
So the first one I read was Backgammon by Paul McGreal.
Okay,
And
that's one
that
I need to pick up just for historical from what it sounds
it's a
like.
good one. The other one that like historically, the Backgammon book by Jacoby and Crawford. Those are like really old ones. There was the
See, I saw
cool.
that one in my thrift store lately, and I wonder if it's still there. I wasn't sure. I didn't have time to look it up to see if it was it, like, because a lot of people they say, "Oh, that's old knowledge, pre-bot time. Don't do that necessarily." Do you feel like that's still a good read for like modern times?
I mean, I enjoy reading it because there are things that you kind of learn from
Yeah,
anything. But some of the newer bots have kind of like shown that some of those things are wrong, but it's okay. It's something you learn. I've
absolutely.
read The Cruelest Game by Barclay Cook. That was a long time ago. And then I think Bill Roberti is probably my favorite author. He's been one of the most prolific, if not the most prolific authors in terms
Awesome.
of all his books that he's written, the advanced backgammon, modern backgammon, all those other ones, and the recent opening ones are outstanding. Kit,
I know Kent Golding said he Bill had a book that was going to be coming out. Did he release a new one recently?
yeah, so there's a 3 volume set of how to play the opening in
Oh,
backgammon.
I love it.
So
Awesome. I'm gonna have to look into that.
that's a good one. I did a review on that. Kit Woolsey has written a lot. Of course, Walter Trice wrote Backgammon Boot Camp, which is an outstanding one. And then more recently, there have been some other authors that have been doing a lot, like you mentioned, Mark Olson. I think that, like, if someone's new and they're just learning the game, I would start with From Basics to Badass, and then
Hmm.
move on to Pure Strategy. And Cube Like a Boss is outstanding, and of course the new Masterclass is outstanding. And I
Yeah.
really also enjoy Michi's books because they're well written, they're simple, they're easy to read. Um,
Yes.
and they're great for anyone. Of course, Nick Blazier wrote a book recently, a few years ago, and then some of the other recent ones. Denek Ziska has written a good one. Uh, Dirk Sheeman wrote the Theory of Backgammon. That's very technical, so probably not. I wouldn't suggest that for you as like your first thing, but
Yeah.
that's a good one if you really want to learn the math and things like that. Francois Tardieu recently published one,
Oh, I haven't seen that
Backgammon
one.
Strategic Concepts. That one's really good. And then there are some others like, Bob Wachtel has written a few. He's a good friend of mine. And
I met him in Jamaica. Very nice guy.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We used to play backgammon in the old club together all the time.
I love it. I love it. He was
Yeah,
there
so
actually signing a few books. I don't know if he had them there or if somebody happened to have them there or what, but he was kind of telling the story. He's like, well, when I wrote this, blah 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 blah. I can't remember what he said, but it was just like it was cool to hear the backstory on it.
he's a very good storyteller, and his new books, the Backgammon Chronicles, are really good. If you're interested in reading, it's more of a story
Oh,
rather
I
than
love that.
learning about it. I think that's a really good one. You'll
I love
enjoy.
that. That's right up my alley. Then and the name itself, I'm such a huge nerd, Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff. So that name alone, it's like, yes, sign me up.
And then he wrote like a backgammon dictionary or glossary or something like that. That one's a good one. And then mine is the most recent one that's probably been released. I tell people what I personally do is I set it on my bedside table.
Mhm.
So I read it for a few minutes and it helps me fall asleep really quickly.
I love that. I love that you went hardcover with it as well. I know you have soft cover as well, but like things like these are being reference books. They're going to be opened and closed so many times. So I love the hardcover ideas.
Yeah, actually, my initial intention was to only have it hardcover because I wanted to be like high quality, but
Mhm.
something like it's I'm new to all this. It's published through Amazon, and to get the hardcover in the UK takes like 6 months
Oh, wow.
because they don't print it there. But in other
Mm.
countries, they'll print it there and it's available. So
Hmm.
like people were ordering it from Germany, but I found that if I made a paperback version, it can be available immediately. And some of the things have been
Interesting.
like kind of crazy because like I'll order author copies and it takes like 2 to 4 weeks for me to get it. But
Interesting. You'd think
anybody
it'd be
else,
faster, especially for you, right?
yeah, you would think that, but if you go and order one, they print it on demand and ship it within a few days.
Okay, cool.
Um, but I have some other people that are helping me with that. You mentioned Carol Joy Cole.
Mhm.
She's distributing it as well as Roberto Litzenberger. So
Oh, awesome.
I
Those,
appreciate
I
that.
met both of them. They're phenomenal people. That's been like for the most part, everybody I've been meeting, it's just like, yes, yes, yes. I actually, it's funny because I was talking about Lord of the Rings. I think somebody in chat, when Roberto was playing in Cherry Blossom, they called him Gandalf. And I love that name. I don't know if he would approve of it, but I was like, yes, mixing two amazing things. I love it.
That's funny. Uh, well, I always ask people, what are ways that we can get people more involved in backgammon? And I think what you're doing is outstanding, like doing all these videos because your videos are being seen by people who've never played, and it's just really promoting the game. What have you gotten feedback or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually have a few people have commented that either they hadn't played in years or they've never played before, and yeah, that my videos drew them in, which is so cool to hear that because I mean that's the big reason we started it was to make it feel welcoming and bring people in that regard that because it can get really technical and intimidating very fast if you let it, but it can also not be that. So that's kind of the route we've been going with our videos, that you can have it be what you want it to be, and that's the beauty of it. You can never learn anything about it and literally just show up and play this great dice game, and that's okay. Or you can go deeper, or you can go really deep with it. It's up to you, and it's fun regardless. So that's something we've been really trying to push. But as far as in general, something that I would love to see, and I think someone mentioned it in one of your other interviews, is a full backgammon documentary. That would be so cool. Just something that would be available more to the masses, that what you're just browsing on Netflix or something like that, and it's like, oh, interesting, okay, and then you give it a watch, and it sucks you in. Like that would be really cool. Um, I'm still so new to the world of backgammon, so it's hard for me to really say. So I guess my best advice is what I'm doing is trying to do it that way. And then actually our the local club that Michelle started in the Fox Valley area here in Wisconsin has been really cool too. We had two brand new people this past week, and they just happened to be on the USBGF website.
Great.
And yeah, and they found it that way, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's great. I think promoting it through the USBGF, however you guys doing it
Yeah.
locally, is fantastic. Speaking of documentaries, if you haven't seen it, you may be interested in. There's one, I think it's on YouTube. It's called Falafel's Game. Have you
Oh
heard of
no, I
it?
haven't seen that.
That would be a good one. That's a nice documentary of him, and I've seen documentaries of like Paul McGreal and some other people as well.
Sure.
Um,
There was I think Mark might have posted it. Mark Olson. There was like an audio documentary which I thought was really good. I think it was of the 2022 games. But like something like that, and I'll watch the falafel one, but something like that would be really cool. I can't remember what it was on. It was just the podcast, but it was like a 45-minute long documentary of sorts. It was
yeah,
really neat.
you can find these things.
Yeah.
And I found, since I started my channel, there's a market over here next to my office. I go get food, and so one of the people that work there recognized me from the YouTube videos.
That's
So
awesome.
I don't know if that happens to you in Wisconsin, but here I'm in Los Angeles.
I get it. I've gotten it a few times at tournaments. Like people say Blunder Blots just to say hello to me, and
Yeah,
that's been really like, oh, hi, because it's just interesting that way. Actually, one of the people I met in Madison, James, he reached out to me that way in Madison, and then he was at the Minnesota tournament, and we actually ended up playing each other, which was awesome. And we're going to be hanging out next weekend, doing a backgammon thing here in Wisconsin. So right there, like that's just cool, and
yeah,
it's the friendships you can make at these tournaments. So highly recommend going out, and whether it be a club or a tournament, and making friends with like-minded people in that regard.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, you've done it's a lot of fun.
It is. It really is.
So what do you have any tournaments that you're going to be going to? I know it's going to be hard with two kids.
Yeah, no, we're probably on pause now for a little bit as far as tournaments go. Got a lot of video ideas in the works, but also that I'm trying to plan out. But tournaments were probably on a pause until probably Cherry Blossom in spring. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, I really wanted to go to St. Louis. I really wanted to go to Denver.
yeah,
But it wasn't in the cards this time around. So hopefully next year.
yeah. Yeah, it would be great if you're ever in Los Angeles. I'll be happy to welcome you.
Yes.
And your wife. I'm here in Los Angeles. Let's see. So we talked about all those things. Nothing really coming up. Uh, before we kind of conclude, do you have any other interesting stories or anything you'd like to share? I know you've shared with us a lot already.
Yeah. Of course, nothing's coming to mind now. Um, I'll keep thinking on that while we wrap up, but yeah, nothing's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, I do. I do recognize like your name when they have those live streams and they have the chat there. I see you on there and people recognize you, and it's like that's actually something fun to chat with other people.
Yeah, I love popping into the chats for tournaments whenever I can, just because once again, it's kind of like being at a club, a virtual club in a way. And yeah, it's great to get to know people. One of very early on, this guy reached out to me, also named Jason, and he actually goes to the same club John O'Hagan does in Indiana.
Yeah.
Forefathers Brewing. Jason, shout out to you if you're watching. But I met him in person in Chicago, and we've been going back and forth chatting a bunch via texting and all that. And he brought me a sampling of some beer that he makes in Indiana, Forefathers Brewing. A great beer, loved it. And just stuff like that. It's just been really cool to build relationships that way. I was just talking to Ben Friesen right before this. Actually, we're chatting about ideas and it's just yeah, it's just so cool to brainstorm with people and to build relationships. And it's so funny. My Facebook, uh, since it came out, it was just this small group of people in Wisconsin. And since playing backgammon, I've Facebook friends all over the world, and it's the weirdest thing. So it's really enlarged, or and also made the world smaller at the same time. Just to be chatting, whether it be Michi, I just met a Kiko in Jamaica and friended her on Facebook, and
Yeah.
yourself, and just all these people around the world, Mark Olson. It's just been really, really neat.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I feel like one of the things is, backgammon is a game. It's meant for enjoyment, and I think that does a lot, at least for me. I enjoy playing, I enjoy the game, and
Mhm.
it kind of gets me away from all the stress that occurs during everyone's life. You
Yeah.
have work, you have family, there's all sorts of things going on, but then when I play, it's just like all my tensions are kind of gone, and you're just
Lets you
like,
take a breath almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I can totally relate to that. I can, and especially now since I've been going to a weekly club, it's just something I look forward to every week. And you're right, it's just a breath. You can kind of breathe, and just yeah, connect into this game and have a good time. And even if things don't go your way, right? The tension can raise within the game, but it's a different type of tension that's enjoyable to me at least.
yeah. Absolutely, it is enjoyable, and it's enjoyable to do these videos. I've really enjoyed speaking with you. You're kind of a
Likewise.
unique person. Thank you, unique person. I speak with a lot of the experts. You're obviously newer to the game, but you have a very nice and interesting and unique perspective, and I think you bring a lot to the game. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
all of your videos, all of your efforts. You're doing an outstanding job. Keep up the
Thank
good
you.
work.
And thank you
Uh,
again for having me on. It really is an honor to to be able to chat with you. And I'm looking forward to getting your book, hopefully sooner rather than later.
yeah, yeah. I think you probably won't learn as much from it as you would from other books. But yeah, I'm happy to collaborate more on future videos on my channel, your channel. That's
Yeah.
always a lot of fun. Do you have any last thoughts before we conclude?
Um, I mean, most of the people probably who would watch this probably either go to tournaments or go to their clubs. So I was gonna say if you haven't gone to any of those recently or if you've never been, check it out. Like it's well worth going to them, making friends and yeah, just keep playing backgammon.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I agree with that. So wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I hope to see you again in future videos, either my channel, your channel, and hopefully one day in person. I always say that to people. You've met all these people. I want to thank the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. And my book that Jason kindly mentioned, Backgammon Backgame Strategies, is now available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you are interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address will be in the description. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.